Hey guys, it's Denise, the Southern Minimalist, and today I want to talk about Christmas because I feel like a lot of us are just going completely overboard with Christmas. And maybe that's you, maybe you need to try and figure out, how to scale it back. This year, we didn't do that many gifts with our kids. I think Sarah probably got the most, and I think, opened maybe 10 boxes of presents, and most of them were small things. Um, and then Bo, he got, I think, 5. And most of both of those were like clothes and stuff that they can use throughout the year because they get an abundance of toys from grandma and grandpa, and all the other people that buy for us. I mean, it's just like toys galore. And it sounds like we didn't get our kids a whole lot, but like Bo's 10 and he was on a 4-wheeler, so me and my husband gave him my husband's old 4-wheeler, so it was a hand-me-down gift, but it was still, a big deal, a big gift. And then he shot his first deer this year, and so we gave him the gun that he shot the first deer with. And so that was a hand-me-down gun. It's not something that we bought, but it was still a gift that he got, and it wasn't really something that he opened that we wrapped up under the tree. So, but I seen post after post after post on Facebook of people sharing like pictures of their tree and all the gifts around up under it. And, it was generally just like, my kids are going to be so happy when they wake up in the morning and see what Santa's brought them, whatever. But the sheer amount of gifts just astonished me. Like, some of these people, only had like 2 kids, and the amount of presents, like it was up under the tree, all along the living room wall, like taking up half of the living room, or it was, like on the living room couch, so like every section of couch had like a different child or something, or it was just taking up the whole couch plus what's up under the tree. Excuse me. And I don't know, like, what to say. I mean, that's a lot of gifts. And I don't know how y'all do for Christmas. Maybe y'all are just, going in debt for it. I don't know, because I look at some of these pictures and I'm kind of like, when you watch Home Alone now as a parent, and you're like, what did Kevin's dad do for a living to where he can afford all this stuff? I kind of am like that with these pictures I saw. Like, how are y'all affording this? Like, apparently I'm in the wrong line of work and I need to be doing something different because I'm not buying stuff like that for my kids. But all joking aside, that's still a lot of stuff. And so what really got me was the next day, like a day or two after Christmas. The same people that shared all these pictures were talking about how they had mental overload, mom overload, how they had to scream and yell at their kids to get all these toys picked up and put away, that their houses were too small, that they had too much stuff, that there's no way they could fit all this stuff in their house, they were going to have to buy a bigger house, on and on and on. And I mean, just listening to some of these other mothers, stress out about this stuff. And I'm like, there's a better way out there to do Christmas. Like, you don't have to get this stressed out about all the stuff. And so I don't know if it's just not clicking, if it's not computing, what, but if you have a problem with all of the stuff and your house might already be too small, or you already have a lot of things, maybe you don't need to add more to the mix. So maybe you need to scale back Christmas and just not buy quite as many things. And I feel like even all of the things that we buy, we're really doing a disservice to our kids, because it wasn't that long ago in history that people would just get like one stocking for Christmas, and it was usually filled with like fruit or candy, and if they were lucky, maybe a pair of shoes. And that was their Christmas, that one single little stocking, and they were happy with that. They were content. It was still something that they looked forward to. And they didn't get new toys every single year. And the greatest, brand newest thing is not something that they got all of the time. Their parents didn't have a lot of excess like we do today. Today, living in America, we have more excess than probably anywhere else in the world. And we just throw all that money at our kids, and we have all these toys that only last for a short period of time, or, these toys that only do like one certain thing, that they're not where you can just play with them forever, or you have to have all these other pieces to, make it work, or, to really use it, or for it to be really beneficial. And so it's just this never-ending thing of buying more and more and more and more. And I feel like our kids are missing out on a lot of like growth opportunities because of this, because we just throw all the money at the presents and the stuff and, all of the toys. And it's just gimmicks and ads, that are getting to us, and our kids see it and they want these things, and we give in and just buy it. But I feel like if we keep on doing this, this never-ending cycle, that our kids are just not really going to understand the value of hard work, because they're not working for any of this. I don't think that they're going to understand, the value of $1, because a lot of this stuff is just cheap and junk, and it's not going to last very long, and we're spending on it anyways, and then just giving them this stuff. And I don't think that they're going to equate, that you actually have to spend time of your life working for that $1. And so maybe you should be thrifty with it, because a lot of what I see anyways, what I perceive from Facebook, is people really not being very thrifty with their money, and really just kind of throwing money away on some of these toys and some of these things just to make little Johnny happy, or make sure that he has everything that the neighbor down the road has. And it shouldn't be where we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. When I buy for my kids, I make sure it's something that they like, that they're going to use, and that they're going to utilize. If they're not going to play with it, then I'm not going to buy it for them. And by now, I pretty much know my kids and know what they're going to do. And that's another part of why we don't get that much for our kids, is because, like used to, I would get mad during Christmas season before we started simplifying. I would get pissed off, because here I would go spend this time searching for the gift, the perfect gift, and something he would like. And I would give it to Bo, and Bo wouldn't play with it. He would open it, and so then I couldn't take it back because he'd already opened it, and we'd throw the box away or whatever, but he never played with it, and it just sat on a shelf in his room. And so that would make me mad. And I used to be the mom that I'm talking about on Facebook that, just had to do like a whole tirade of fussing the day after because of all of the stuff. But this year, it was a completely different story. Like, Sarah, she went in her room and she played makeup and did a little makeover on herself. And Bo and my husband played some game, maybe Fortnite, I don't know, some game on the PS4. And they spent time together doing that. And me, by myself, put up all the toys, and it wasn't a big hassle. It didn't take me all day because we didn't have a lot of stuff to put away. And it was just amazing. Like, it was so easy. There was no fussing. I could handle putting away the few things that they got because they were few. There wasn't a lot of them. I could handle putting up all of the trash and all of the boxes because there wasn't that many of them. And so it was just a pretty chill day the day after Christmas. And, I picked up a few toys, and then we sat around and watched movies and, had hot chocolate and stuff like that. I mean, it just was an easy day. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be this whole, thing where you have to turn into the mom monster or whatever you want to call it in order to get something done around your house the day after Christmas. And I just feel like we need to understand as a society that we really are so lucky to live where we live and to have the excess that we have. But that doesn't mean that we need to go buy a whole bunch of junk just because we might have a little bit of extra money. And that doesn't mean that we need to spend it all on our kids or just throw money at all of the toys just because we see an advertisement or, our kids think they might like this or play with it. You really need to make sure that your kids are going to use the things that you get. And I've noticed the longer we've been simplifying, then our kids are not getting as much stuff, and so it makes the stuff that they do get special, and it's really important. Like my daughter got a Miss Potato Head doll from someone this Christmas, and she's carried that thing around like crazy. And if a piece falls off, she's like, "Oh no, Miss Potato Head, Miss Potato Head." And, it really means a lot to her, but it's because she doesn't have, 49 other toys and dolls and everything else. That doll is special because that's one of the few that she has. If you have all the things in the world, then, it's hard for any of it to be special if you're trying to give attention to all of it. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just math. If you take and have, let's take dolls since we're talking about my daughter. If you had 100 dolls, then it's hard for you to play with every single one of them. It's hard for you to get attached to any single one of them because you have so many. Even if you rotated them out every day, it's still going to be the same thing. So limiting the amount of toys that we've had and that we bring into our house has made a significant impact. Our kids do play now. They play a lot better and longer, more by themselves, uninterrupted play. And, if they get bored, they find something to do. And I think it's because they're not bombarded by all this extra stuff. As a mom, we get overwhelmed when we have a lot of things to do. And I feel like our children can get that way too with the amount of stuff that they have. If we have a lot of stuff cluttering up our space, I get overwhelmed. And so I know my kids probably feel the same way too. So if they have way too much stuff and they don't have room to play, or if they have way too many toys and they can't devote time to them all, then they probably feel the same way. So I don't know, that's my little tirade and food for thought. So maybe you can simplify your Christmas and get back to the true meaning of Christmas, which is Jesus and not the gifts. And I hope that you had a very Merry Christmas and have a great day. Love y'all. Bye.